What if that guy did this to your car?
What guy? The clown?
When it comes to horror, there are villains. And then there's Art the Clown. Unlike most horror icons, he doesn't speak, doesn't have a tragic backstory, and has no clear motivation. Yet, somehow, he gets under our skin in a way that even the most twisted characters don't. What is it about Art that keeps us watching and squirming? Today, we're diving deep into the mind, or maybe the mindlessness of Art the Clown. We'll dissect what makes him so uniquely terrifying and why this modern horror figure has managed to disturb audiences worldwide. So, if you think you're brave enough, join us as we explore every eerie detail of Art's unsettling world. Stay with us until the end to uncover the disturbing psychology, chilling themes, and the growing cult following of a character who may be the most unnerving horror villain of our time. This is a horror journey you won't want to miss. Art the Clown, an unusual name for an unusual horror icon. Created by director Damien Leone, Art the Clown first appeared in the 2008 short film The Ninth Circle before taking center stage in Terrifier. From his very first moments on screen, Art's chilling demeanor was unlike any clown character audiences had seen. In a genre where killers often have motives, Art remains an enigma. He doesn't speak a single word. Instead, he communicates with exaggerated gestures and silent mockery. With his black and white costume and grotesque makeup, Art's appearance plays on our fears of clowns, but with a horrifying twist. What makes Art different is his unpredictability. He can go from calmly observing to committing brutal acts of violence without a hint of hesitation. His silence, combined with his theatrical expressions, creates an eerie tension. We never know when he'll strike, or what might set him off. Art had transformed into a lead villain who didn't need words or a complex backstory to instill fear. He simply exists to terrorize, embodying chaos in its purest form. Another aspect of Art's appeal is his odd fascination with his victims. He doesn't just kill, he studies, mocks, and toys with his prey as if they're part of some sick, personal performance. This twisted curiosity adds another layer to his character, leaving audiences unnerved by his seemingly detached cruelty. As audience, Art's terror doesn't end here. His power to unsettle us reaches into something deeper, the psychological fear factor that makes him even more disturbing. In our next chapter, we'll delve into how Art taps into the darkest corners of the human mind. What makes Art the Clown so psychologically disturbing? Unlike typical horror villains, Art doesn't rely on jump scares or loud noises. Instead, he taps into the primal fear of the unpredictable, where every action feels calculated, yet irrational. Art's silent presence alone creates an eerie atmosphere. There's something profoundly unsettling about a character who can just stand there, doing nothing, yet radiating pure menace. It's the kind of fear that creeps up on you, the fear of what might happen next. This unpredictability keeps us on edge. He goes from calm and composed to ruthlessly violent in an instant. Audiences are never given a moment to feel safe around him, and this lack of control is where true horror lies. Art's behavior is a reminder that, with him, there's no logic, no reasoning, and no mercy. Art's clown persona amplifies this unease. By exaggerating his expressions, he blurs the line between comedy and horror, creating a sense of distorted reality. Clowns are meant to entertain, but in Art's world, his playful expressions feel like mockery, twisting joy into something terrifying. But perhaps the most frightening aspect of Art is his sense of power. He doesn't just kill, he establishes complete dominance over his victims. He knows they're afraid, and he feeds off that fear, turning their terror into his personal entertainment. Adding to this fear factor is Art's apparent immunity to pain or harm. It's as if he's untouchable, not bound by the same limitations as his human victims. This not only makes him physically terrifying, but also places him beyond our understanding. Is he human? Supernatural? This ambiguity fuels our fear of the unknown. The psychological horror of Art goes even deeper, reflecting dark themes and symbols that tap into primal fears. In the next chapter, we'll uncover the hidden symbolism behind Art's character and the themes that make his horror resonate with audiences on a deeper level.
Oh.
Art the Clown's appearance alone hints at symbolism. The black and white costume, a stark contrast to the colorful outfits of typical clowns, suggests an inversion of innocence and joy, transforming the familiar into something terrifying. It's as if he's a perversion of the childhood clown, a symbol of laughter turned into a harbinger of nightmares. In many ways, Art embodies the idea of death itself, a silent, unstoppable force that follows you no matter where you run. He doesn't just chase his victims, he stalks them, letting the fear build until it's unbearable. Art becomes a reminder that death can be patient, and it can be merciless. Beyond death, Art represents the theme of dehumanization. His victims aren't just people to him, they're part of his twisted artwork manipulated for his amusement. It's as if he's making a statement about the fragility of humanity, reducing lives to mere entertainment in his world of chaos. Art's exaggerated expressions and twisted humor highlight another theme: society's hidden fascination with fear and violence. As he mocks his victims with cartoonish gestures, it's as though he's forcing us to confront our own curiosity about the macabre. Art reflects our own morbid curiosity back at us, turning his horror into a mirror. In this way, Art also symbolizes pure nihilism, a character without empathy, remorse, or a moral compass. He's not driven by revenge or trauma. He simply exists to create chaos and destruction. It's an unsettling portrayal of evil without motive, reminding us that sometimes horror doesn't need a reason. Art the Clown's dark symbolism sets him apart from other horror villains, but he's not without comparison. In the next chapter, we'll explore how he measures up to some of horror's most iconic killers and what makes his brand of terror so unique. When we think of horror icons, names like Michael Myers, Jason Voorhees, and Freddy Krueger come to mind. These figures, much like Art the Clown, have become symbols of terror over decades, but while they share the spotlight of horror fame, Art the Clown brings something completely different to the table. Take Michael Myers, for example. His unflinching silence and stoic presence make him terrifying. But we know his backstory: the mask, the trauma, the relentless pursuit of his sister. His actions are driven by some internal need for revenge. Jason Voorhees, similarly, is a tragic figure. His violent acts rooted in a personal vendetta for the death of his mother. Even Freddy Krueger, though supernatural, operates on a clear motive to exact revenge on those who wronged him. Art the Clown, on the other hand, lacks this foundation. He's not seeking revenge. There's no tragic backstory to explain his madness. He's a force of chaos, unpredictable, silent, and utterly devoid of motive. In that sense, Art represents the purest form of evil. He's not constrained by the narrative or psychology that often drives other horror icons. Another stark contrast is how Art interacts with his victims. Unlike Freddy, who taunts his victims in their dreams, or Jason, who silently dispatches with overwhelming force, Art takes pleasure in playing with his victims. His unsettling sense of humor and toys with his prey, toying with their fear, is something none of these other killers do with such glee. There's a twisted playfulness in Art's actions that's hard to ignore. Unlike the others, who often exude a grim seriousness, Art does sadistic pleasure. Where other killers are purely terrifying because of their relentlessness, Art is terrifying because of his unpredictability and pure disregard for life. Even their physical appearance reflects these differences. Michael's pale, expressionless mask conveys an unfeeling, almost human-like quality. Jason's hockey mask hides his emotions, while Freddy's burned face serves as a constant reminder of his tragic past. Art's mask, however, is something else entirely. His exaggerated features, largely unaffected by emotion, make his appearance both alien and grotesque. There's nothing human about him. He's a clown, but not one that's ever meant to make you laugh. Despite these differences, Art the Clown has carved out a place for himself among these horror legends. But why? In the next chapter, we'll explore how audiences have responded to him and how he's become a modern cult figure in the horror world. When it comes to horror icons, the true test of longevity isn't just about the number of sequels or merchandise. It's about the fans. And Art the Clown, despite his relatively recent rise, has quickly gained a dedicated cult following. His unnerving presence, lack of explanation, and pure chaotic evil have struck a chord with modern horror enthusiasts or across social media platforms. Art has become a meme-worthy figure. Fans love to discuss the mystery surrounding him. Why does he do what he does? What's his backstory? There's an enigmatic quality to art that encourages speculation. This kind of curiosity feeds the growing buzz around him. Fans aren't just passively watching. They're actively dissecting his every move, coming up with theories and interpretations. Critical reception, too, has played a role in his rise to horror stardom. Film critics and horror podcasters have praised Art for his fresh take on the genre. Unlike other killers who may rely on established formulas, Art brings something new to the table. An anarchic force of terror that has earned him a special place in the hearts of horror fans who crave something more disturbing, more raw, and more unpredictable. Art's influence can be seen at horror conventions and events like Universal's Halloween Horror Nights. Fans aren't just watching Terrifier, they're embracing Art's identity, dressing up as him, and bringing his chaotic energy into the real world. This connection between the character and his fans demonstrates the strength of his appeal. He's no longer just a character on screen, he's a symbol of fear, rebellion, and freedom from the constraints of typical horror tropes. And it doesn't stop at film. Art has become a key figure in horror merchandise. Action figures, comic books, and even collectibles have given fans a chance to take a piece of the terror home with them. These items aren't just selling because of nostalgia. There's something genuinely disturbing about Art that makes fans want to own a piece of him. With the release of Terrifier 2, Art's popularity only skyrocketed. The film went viral, not just for its over-the-top violence, but for Art's shocking return to the big screen. Fans rushed to see it in theaters. And Terrifier 2 quickly became a cult sensation. It's clear that Art is more than just a passing horror trend, he's here to stay. Art's rise to fame is a testament to how modern horror thrives on unpredictability and raw, unfiltered terror. He's a character unlike any we've seen before, and his appeal shows no signs of slowing down. In our final chapter, we'll reflect on why Art the Clown stands out as a modern horror icon. As we've explored, Art the Clown is more than just a modern horror villain. He represents Art's twisted playfulness, his mockery of his victims, and his enjoyment of their fear all tap into something deeper, a societal fascination with the macabre. He's not just a killer, he's a reflection of the way society looks at horror and violence with both fascination and fear. His symbolism touches on themes of nihilism, dehumanization, and the loss of innocence, making him a truly unsettling figure in modern horror. And it's this raw, unpredictable fear that has connected with audiences. Art the Clown has transcended the screen to become a cult figure, inspiring fan art, cosplay, and a passionate following that grows stronger with each passing day. The lack of a clear backstory, the shocking violence, and the twisted humor are what make Art a modern horror icon. He's earned his place in the annals of horror, not just through his films, but through his impact on pop culture and his ability to resonate with a new generation of horror fans. In the end, Art the Clown is a horror villain who stands apart from the rest, unpredictable, unnerving, and unapologetically violent. Whether he's terrifying us with his silent menace, his horrific actions, or his twisted sense of humor, Art has proven that horror can evolve and still frighten us in new and terrifying ways. As we move forward into the future of horror, it's clear that Art's reign is just beginning. Thank you for joining us in this deep dive into the mind of Art the Clown. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you want to see more content like this. And remember, as long as Art is out there, the horror is far from over.
Yo, we closing up, man. $8.99. Are you serious right now? Yo, can you pay for that or not? Sir, what are you doing? All right, sir, you know what? I'm gonna call the police. Hey, did you hear what I said?